What is up, everyone? Welcome back. Welcome back to Lou Reviews, the destination for critical thinking in the realm of the unexplained. While some may approach the subject with unquestionable belief, I'm here to encourage skepticism and rational exploration in the unknown. We'll dive deep into the claims, separate fact from fiction, and sift through the evidence to get through to the truth. Our mission: to challenge conventional wisdom, to ask tough questions, and to shed light on the mysteries that continue to captivate our collective imagination. You guys, welcome back to the show. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. If you've been here before, and even if it's your first time here, smash that like button. Ring the bell. That way you're notified anytime we go live. And yeah, if you really love the show, we've got links below where you can donate, like Aaron Desario, who is a $10 a month Patreon. So thank you so much for that donation. Goes a long way to help produce the show. So with that said, today we've got a lot to talk about. I'm going to finish up the Chris Bledsoe stuff. We're going to delve into Ross Coulthart's interesting message to ufology in regards to the craft so large that it cannot be moved, and we're and also why that doesn't get any backlash from anybody for some reason. Meanwhile, we observe the stagnation of discussions surrounding UAPs within Congress and eagerly anticipate the continuation of Steven Greenstreet's compelling interview series with Sean Kirkpatrick, which actually aired. So we could talk about that a little bit as well. So yeah, so we've got a fun show planned for today. So I'm glad you guys are here. I want to say hello to all the usuals: Fifi Barbora, Mamba's Dope Boy, Swake McLeod, I'm Not Here, This Isn't Happening, also known as Pip, Alex G, Complicit, Deluxe Edition, thank you for being here. Aaron Desario, love you, bud. Thank you for being here. Robbie Broadway, HTID Tricky. I did check out that Professor Dave debunk on Rogan while I was prepping for the show. And yeah, the first 10 minutes are amazing. So I'll definitely be watching the rest of it after the show. So thanks for the suggestion. Okay, so Pat Calabria, yo, back to you. Puxley, hi. I think I got everyone. So yeah, welcome everyone. Okay, so let's get to the old Lou Reviews. Lou Reviews studio here. Let's go to my bookmarks. And well, actually, okay, so the first thing I want to finish up is Chris Bledsoe. Now, I don't remember where I finished off. And yeah, sorry for having to end the show on Monday the way that went down. But yeah, just personal family shit, and we had to take care of it, or at least yeah, as a family come together and talk about some stuff. So yeah, cancer sucks. That's all I'll say. But yeah, we're in a good position to make sure we can attack it the best we can. And yeah, so I wanted to finish on one thing. Excuse me there. And that was when it came to Chris Bledsoe. I'm pretty sure everyone pretty much understands where I was coming from. Okay, so this is a video from the Bledsoe family. I don't know if it's junior or senior, but this is one of the craft that apparently they summoned. And there's no metadata, there's no date, there's no location, there's no reference points, there's no discernible way to tell how large this craft is. There's a very strange light going off in the bottom here, which is really weird. And of course, the footage is grainy and shitty. Of course it is. Of course it is. This guy can call UFOs that he claims hover feet off the ground and just roll right by him 40 feet away from him. Like, really close. And this is the best we got, is this video right here. Oh, and by the way, no sound either. Look at this. Like, it's dark. All we see are these lights. It's smoky. It almost feels like the whatever it is actually emitting some of this smoke. And then it looks like reflective. I can't even really describe it. It almost looks like it's rotating, but honestly, like, this could be an LED display. Like, this could be a light strip with these balls here. Like, this is really easy to produce, honestly, in a garage with some model trees. This isn't anything crazy. Like, this isn't otherworldly. The camera's stupid shaky. And again, like, what is this light source here at the bottom of the screen? Like, what's going on here? And yeah, the fact that there's no sound is also very sus. Like, it just is, man. It just is. Like, this looks terrible. This looks like something Third Phase of Moon made. Speaking of Third Phase of Moon, man, I just like came to the realization that's what Skyfire News is. It's a 2.0 version of Third Phase of Moon. I don't want to switch gears to them, but that's just what they are. They love pushing bullshit, and they're one of the reasons that they've got the following that they have is because they help push the bullshit and ride the curtails of Ashton Forbes. And they defended him and defended him and defended him and defended him and defended him. Even though they know he's lying, the videos are fucking fake. Like, everyone knows. The writing of those videos have been on the wall for a very, very long time. Honestly, since they surfaced. Since the second the story popped, those videos have been debunked. And Skyfire News just loves picking up these stories that are oozing in pseudoscience and no facts. And then the way they present them, the way they tweet them out, the phrasing, the words that they use to get clicks and retweets. And it's working. Like, it's working. They take the worst of ufology and they highlight it. Because to them, it's spooky and unexplainable, but really, most of the times, almost all the times, it's not. And they never retract, they never correct, they never follow up, just like Third Phase of Moon. Except they're just better at it. They're better at it. It's a little sleeker. They've got a little bit of money behind it. It's so... I hope they're proud of themselves. Here's what's really funny is this is the peak of success for those two guys. This is it. This is as high as they're going to get. And it could grow into millions of followers, I'm sure, one day. Because people love eating bullshit. They love eating fantasy and lore and mystery and all that nonsense. And making accounts like this is not difficult. It's really not. So, yeah, this video, it reminds me of them because they're the ones that I found this video on. They're the site. And, I can't remember what the hell they put with it because I don't like putting their logos on my show. I hate doing it. I don't want to, I've never mentioned their company name, but this video reminded me of them. And this bullshit is the kind of stuff, this is the bar that ufology loves to help set. This low, shitty, really shitty bar of evidence. Like no one on Skyfire News was like, why is there no sound? Why is there no, hey, this is a video clip from Chris Bledsoe. Take it with a grain of salt. And the reasons why is because there's no sound. He gave us no metadata. The footage is kind of grainy. It's in the dark. There's no perspective. There's no data. There's no data here other than a story that it was summoned, you know, and with a really sexy Southern drawl. That's it. That's all this footage has. And with as much model work and RC plane work these guys do, like, this would not shock me if it was filmed in, like, a garage. I'm dying to know what this light source is down here. Like, it's just so weird. Just everything about it is sus. I don't know if that's lens flare from this light source, but I don't think it is. I think it's coming from something else. But let other people figure it out. I don't have time to do that. And I probably couldn't. Like, I honestly. But the shakes of this don't match this. So that's why I think it's from a different light source. It could be like, I don't know. Could be a campfire. Maybe it's a campfire. Maybe they did this effect in actual, like, outside, like in a set of woods on their property, possibly. But there's no way to tell. We can't tell. We have no clue. It's just so stupid, man. So dumb. So that's basically like my rant about Chris Bledsoe and a little bit about Skyfart News. Is that they're incredibly irresponsible with how they present the data and who they latch their claws into, like this guy. Man, this guy is having a month. Jesus. Like, you think, like, it's almost like, like a Mad Max or like a Western where they tie your hands to the motorcycle or the horse and they just kind of drag you along, and at some point you fall, and then it's like sand, and then you maybe hit the gravel, and then it's like the worst, like maybe cactus or something like that. And this guy, I think, is entering cactus phase with how cringe and how embarrassing his fucking shtick is getting. So I missed this free energy device that he's making. I stopped listening to this schmuck a long time ago. I don't understand why people give him the time of day. I guess we're getting into him right now. And I love the idea of not using his name, and like a he who shall not be named, because it encourages people to go look at who this guy is. But I think most people know just by seeing what we're doing here. But it's the principle, like, we want to talk about these hucksters, but some of these hucksters have legitimate social media presence. Not huge. Like, it's nothing insane, but enough to rile up some extremism. Enough to possibly get either themselves or somebody else hurt. And the claims that this guy's now making, John Greenwald wrote, remember that guy who's pushing the MH370 clearly hoax videos, but despite being proven wrong numerous times, kept being a weirdo about it? Recently, he started hawking a, quote, free energy device, getting people amped up to send thousands of dollars. He does a sneak peek in the form of a screenshot and on a live stream. Denies it was a screenshot from a 14-year-old YouTube video. Even laughs his normal par for the course arrogance at the person who posted it in the chat. But then in real time, you see his newest delusion crumble when he realizes it is absolutely from a 14-year-old YouTube video. The below clip and posted explaining more is priceless. And then we get into this post from T Powell, and he's at TJP of Texas, and he writes, thoroughly suppressed, or so says EtherTech. The story deserves a song, so it has one below. Ashton continues making claims to the effect of him being one of selected and ideal person to bring about this, quote, free energy and over unity device from his new company EtherTech, with which he claims to have signed an NDA. He started his own company and made himself sign an NDA. Is that what just happened? That's fucking gold. He claims the technology is very secret and revealing and would result in it all getting shut down by black hats or white hats or silly hats. Today on the stream, he revealed just a tease, a single photo of a device with meters hooked up to wires disappearing off screen, half the device off screen, but presented by Ashton Forbes as incontrovertible truth that the free energy device he's touting is 100% real. Then the grift crumbled before everyone's very eyes. A Discord user at Cenobite _78 performed a quick reverse image search on a still from the live stream. Hilariously, Ashton momentarily insisted that it was not possible to reverse image search the image yet, because he hadn't released the image, only showed it on a live stream. A screenshot of the stream with the YouTube video source was shown by Ashton, as he conceded the image must come from that video and it must be some misrepresentation of the entity's statement on his part. Stay skeptical. I love it, dude. That's so funny. So here's the clip right here. Let me turn. Yep, that's up. Oh, maybe my volume's down. No, it's not. All right, let's see here. There we go.
And even though I'm showing this, I still can't answer any questions about how the device operates, but you know, you can glean some information off this picture, no doubt. So here you go, chat. Over here is over unity. You can see the input on the left is 97 watts.
And here's the thing, like, it sounds like he's talking about this as if he was there working on it. You know, like he was in the house and one of his other colleagues or something took the picture, and now he's going through, you know, screen by screen what's happening. Dude, this guy's such an asshole.
You can see the middle one is 183 watts. This is the output.
Okay.
Talk to the entity as well about this here. This is a still image. We're not going to have video yet. This is just this little teaser taste. A lot of people were like, oh, they're not going to show the image, blah, blah, blah. They're not going to show the device. Well, we're showing part of the device right there. This is not the demo model, just to be clear. This is an older model that was from over a year ago. I told you guys that this entity had produced these devices, produced over 30 of them. I was able to get an image of the meters from an older device. So,
I mean, to think that this schmuck has gotten to over 100,000 followers and has been on some pretty big platforms. It's discouraging. You know, it is very discouraging, because I think there are a lot better content creators that do really great stuff, that are infinitely better. And one I can point to right now is Weird Reads with Emily. Like, she's got around 30 or 40,000, but you know, she's been around doing this for a really long time, and she works her ass off on that YouTube channel. And this little dick comes along with this fantasy story, these fantasy inventions, this fucking brazen attitude, and he states these things as if they're fact, with all this pseudo bullshit science that only he understands for some reason. And it's wild to see how quickly that gets picked up and platformed by, in some cases, smart people, in most cases, dumb people. I really don't understand how in a society with more information, with more data than ever before. This is what it must be like an innate human trait to want to get scammed or to want to believe in things that there's no evidence for. Like, with all of the data out there on how fake those videos are and how debunked they have been, and this guy gets 100,000 followers and I'm losing followers by the day. Like, it's weird. It's fucking weird, dude. It's weird how information, real data, real facts are way overlooked for lies, hoaxsters, snake oil salesmen. In this dickhead's case now, he's got a free energy device as if he's figured it out. It's wild, dude. It's wild how... What the hell is wrong with us? Like, what is wrong with us? With all of the cool shit happening around us, this is the shit that people want to listen to? It's just fucking weird, man. This is the popular shit. This is the stuff that almost got on Joe Rogan. I bet he was this close. He was close, man. If he had gone on Joe Rogan, holy fuck, his ego would ooze through your speakers. His head would actually fit into the headphones that he wears. Man, it's just wild. It's sad. It's a bummer. Like, it's a bummer. It's a bummer. But man, humans are a weird thing. I could understand something like this in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s. But today, with information at your fingertips, again, like being able to take a screenshot of this and in seconds tell you, yeah, that's a 14-year-old fucking picture. That is amazing that we live in that world. But still, it's not enough to combat this. Or other versions of this. Man, dude, it's wild. It's just wild. All right, let's play the rest of this.
I don't know. Is Baker's Tut joking? I think he's probably joking. I hope you're joking, man. If people are gonna think that they're going to, are people really gonna try to push disinformation and claim that we took an old picture from somewhere else? It wouldn't surprise me if debunkers are that dishonest. Honestly, no. This image is not 14 years old. I guarantee you that. Well, you guys are right. This does look like it comes from 14 years ago. So I'm going to have to get clarification on this. I stand corrected.
At least
pretty neat, chat.
At least he corrected himself on this one, but I don't think there's any way for him to unpaint himself from this corner he put himself in. But you know what he's going to do? He's going to wait for the paint to dry and then just move the goalposts to something else tomorrow. And go right back to selling his free energy bullshit to his 100,000 followers. And again, dude, I wonder how many Patreon members he has. Yeah, I don't have them. Hold on one second, guys. Let me do a little quick lookaroo over here. What's up with likes being private? That's a weird thing, huh? But why? I didn't know that was a problem. What are we looking up? Oh yeah, Ashton Forbes. There you are. There you are, you little muppet. Let's see here. Let's send a tip. He doesn't have, it's weird. He doesn't have like a link tree or something like me. I've got a link tree. Go check it out. They're always fun. Dude, I know he's got like a Patreon or some sort of thing that where he takes donations. But yeah, man, it's like if you've got like when we did the numbers on my channel, it averaged out to like $10 per person on my Patreon. You've got 60, 70, 80 Patreons. That's $600 to $800 a month. Now, if you've got 600, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, like out of that 100,000 followers that are donating money to him, how many are those monthly subs? It's a lot of money. Like, it's not, buy mansion money, go get me a Ferrari money. But it is, hey, I can stay at home and do stupid videos like this and spread misinformation kind of money. I mean, you'd be shocked how many people will accept $160,000 a year to sit at home and spread bullshit. You'd be surprised how many people would take $60,000 a year to sit at home and spread bullshit. Knowingly spread bullshit. Like Third Phase of Moon. Like Skyfart News. Like Ashton Forbes. Like that UFO podcast. Like, these guys make a ton of money presenting themselves as a science show, a scientist in Ashton Forbes' fucking case. He claims to understand the science that nobody else understands. You say that the podcast that you're doing is a science podcast when it's not. It's an entertainment pseudoscience podcast. Like, they come from these places of authority and also goodwill. Like, they pretend to raise money for charities, which we should have an answer on that hopefully soon. Again, still waiting. I can't. What am I going to do? Still waiting on some answers, but so far, doesn't look like those monies were either sent or all of it wasn't sent to the proper places. They present themselves as, intellectuals when they don't have degrees in philosophy or any science whatsoever or biology. Like they do not have any degrees in fucking archaeology. They do not have degrees in psychology. They're just, in some cases, they have a British accent. They sound very, very intelligent, and they're well-spoken, and they present this stuff poetically in some cases. In some cases, cringy. Either way, they've got a trough of people eating their bullshit. And yeah, it's frustrating. It's frustrating to see like that there's not just a couple people, there's a lot of people out there that push this kind of nonsense. Like they really, really, really do. It's so strange.
Right. This does look like it comes from 14 years ago. So I'm going to have to get clarification on this.
Yeah, we'll see.
I stand corrected. Pretty neat chat. Yeah, real life disclosure happening in real time by your Four Orbeez buddy, Ashton Forbes. Pretty exciting. So I want to make sure that this isn't a situation where I'm being, misled related to this here.
Oh, you mean kind of like that
I'm always
download that you paid like $5,000 for?
But no, this is definitely must be that image must come from this.
There's a video of it on YouTube, man. Like what a goonball. What a goonball. Like, yeah, he's taking hits left and right. This was a really cool picture, or video rather, and it made me think of David Paulides and his missing 411 fucking silly nonsense movies, you know, where he's implying that Bigfoot and aliens are fucking kidnapping people in our national parks. And this is a fucking eagle carrying an adult deer soaring through the sky. Like, I think of the one story that sticks out to me is the old man, but the kid that disappeared. Really just like neglectful parents. When you listen to their testimony, they sounded a little neglectful to me, like they just weren't paying attention to their kid. And I think an eagle came in and swooped that kid up, or possibly a cougar or something like that. And yeah, I mean, like, so this adult deer probably weighs 180, 200 pounds. Like, that's insane. That's insane. Also goes to show you how big, you know, eagles are. They're fucking massive, dude. Like, anyway, that was a cool one. We'll get to that Russell Crowe clip here in a moment. Yeah, we'll get to those Donald Trump clips here in a moment. I wanted to... God, there's so much stuff, you guys. There's so much stuff to talk. So many clips. So yeah, I guess I kind of have to speed this up. Okay, so damn, so many clips. Okay, so Starfish Prime. Okay, so this is. We'll start with Tom DeLonge here, and we'll see where else we can work this into. But yeah, this is Tom DeLonge and AJ Hartley discussing Starfish Prime and their novel that came out today, Trinity. I can't wait for this fucking book. Everybody's just foaming at the mouth for this stupid book. All right, listen.
Someone important posit a hypothetical to me. That I took to be a very pointed conversation, on a very purposeful conversation, because of who the person was. And back in 1963, there was a nuclear test in space called Starfish Prime. Now, anyone can go out there and read about Starfish Prime, and you can go on Wikipedia and see all about it. And the idea of it was to really see what electromagnetic pulse would do in the vacuum of space. The EMP wave. Now, the EMP wave is what we hear about. If a nuke goes off, it'll shut off all of our electricity and burn all of our electrical, systems and whatever. So one of the fears we've always had as a country is, would the Soviets detonate a nuclear weapon in the atmosphere above America, and just that EMP wave would come down and just wipe us back to the Stone Age, all of our computers, all of our phone lines, everything. So we definitely have had those fears, and so have other countries. So when Starfish Prime was one of the attempts to launch something into space and test how that EMP wave would travel. What's interesting about it is when you look it up and read about it, it actually did take out a satellite or two, is what it discusses. Well, I have very high reason to believe that maybe it did take out a satellite, but it really brought down something else as well. And then the question becomes,
is that right, Tom?
That it might bring something else down. And or maybe a few of us knew, and the rest of the people on the team did not know. They just thought they were testing something in space. So I had some pretty deep, meaningful conversations about Starfish Prime with the right people.
Trust me, bro. That Starfish Prime shit is real. Yeah, it knocked out a couple UFOs. And then we picked those up. And then, man, I want to play this, but we don't have time. We got so many other clips. This was, okay, first of all, there's so many things that I could go off on about this clip. But the one thing I will say is that Tim Burchett is not this quick-witted. I will give him, this is fucking hilarious comeback for somebody to say, but it's a little off-putting that the person that's saying this comeback is an elected representative of the United States Congress, and he's talking to a constituent asking him a question. Now, whether you don't like the question, you have ill will for the question. You're an elected representative. And this is the way he decides to respond. But here's what I think happened before we play the clip. I think Burchett walked by this guy earlier, went back, or stopped, got one of his staffers and said, hey, walk behind me and film this. This is going to be awesome. And then we got this clip. And this was actually posted by Tim Burchett's Twitter account. Like, this is fucking nuts, man, that lawmakers are brazen enough to talk to constituents like this.
Representative, will you commit to opposing a nationwide abortion ban?
Will you commit to putting some sunscreen on those legs? Man, I gotta wear welding goggles out here, they're so wide.
Will you consider putting sunscreen on them legs? I mean, the whitest guy in the goddamn world is telling the other guy his legs are too white. First of all, that's some white on white crime. That's some, to me, some funny shit. This is so funny. First of all, this is hilarious. But once you get past hilarious, this is bullshit. Like, no representative. I don't give a fuck if you are 100% pro-life. That's your right to be. And you can carry those beliefs for your constituents as a lawmaker. But when somebody asks you something like this, as a lawmaker, I feel like it's a great opportunity to stop and actually talk to this guy and say, okay, well, here, where do we disagree on this? Because that's your job. That's your actual fucking job. But we've gotten to a point now where lawmakers don't give a fuck. They don't fucking care about our concerns. They don't care about our struggles. They don't care. All they give a shit about is what's going to keep them in office with the fat paycheck that they have, the pension that they're going to receive, and the fucking healthcare that they get for life that we pay every dime of. All they give a shit about is raising money for the next term. All of them. Both sides. And it's just wild to me that, and you know, it's a polite question and it's a relevant question today. And whether you disagree with the question or not, yeah, as a regular Joe Schmo, that comeback, yeah, I might have stopped my buddy and been like, hey, start filming and walk behind me. Check this out. We got to go back. Because you definitely didn't think of that on the fly because this is too perfect. He knew the question was coming. And so he thought of the comeback and he threw welder's mask in there to make himself more working class so he can relate to them boys. Asshole. You're such an asshole. You're such a goon, dude. But it is funny. And he does skateboard.
Will you commit to putting some sunscreen on those legs? Man, I gotta wear welding goggles out here, they're so wide.
Just the voice that quote is coming, it doesn't match. It doesn't match. Well, he's like, oh, I'm gonna slam dunk on this white boy. Oh, here, watch this, baby. Watch this, everybody. Yeah. It was, I mean, I'm sure that guy was like, oh, fuck, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. These are pretty white legs. But it's hot. It's summer. What a dick, man. Anyway, that's your UFO fucking prophet in Congress, Tim Burchett, who is very pro-life until, of course, the kids need school lunch or after-school programs. That's where the pro-life fucking stops. Or healthcare. Pro-life. Before they're born, I'm pro-life. Once you're out there, you're on your own, fucker. Pro-life. It's the biggest joke ever. Okay. So, yeah, this is... the UFO... it's like... Man, there's so many things running through my mind right now. Because I've been in quite a few spaces where... I mean, like... Where you think you're making progress with the community... And they're like, oh, maybe they're starting to see reason. They're starting to understand. They finally conceded this. And then they immediately fall for Chris Bledsoe bullshit. Like and it's like all the rage, all the buzz for a week. And then we argue about it for, when I say we, I mean the community. Argue about it for about a month. And then maybe finally the reason starts to sink in, especially once whatever evidence is looked at for the umpteenth time, because Chris Bledsoe has been spinning his bullshit since 2008. Since 2008. 7. According to him, that was when the financial crash was. Even though I was pretty sure it was 2008. Like, it's, and then, so we get to a point where we're like, oh, maybe they're finally starting to get it. It's a scam, and it dies down. And then it's like, Jason Sands, you hear what he said? Oh my God, it's a revelation. That's not a revelation. Then we talk about it and bring them down. Oh my God, Nazca mummies are real. They're real. What does that mean? They're real. Don't know, but they're real. They're real, man. This is a peer-reviewed paper. It's been quoted 8 times, but it's real, man. Okay. It's just like, dude, it's an incredibly frustrating community to deal with. And so I'm struggling with just like, because they hate when I put labels on them. They hate it. Oh, why do you call us all crazy? Because you kind of are. Because you kind of are. Because you refuse to look at reason. You refuse to look at facts. You propagate and pedestal dickheads like this. And as soon as guys like this say stuff like this clip that we're about to play, and this is Gary Nolan talking about UFO retrieval teams that are being organized by private citizens. So I guess Dan Zetterstrom and Lou Elizondo are going to get some boots on the ground and start sending themselves on retrieval programs for UFO. What happens if they run into the military? Then what? Or what happens if you get there before the military and you retrieve materials that don't actually belong? You know what? Let's just listen to the clip. Like, it's so fucking stupid. But when people with their name on a building at Stanford say shit like this, it's taken so seriously as some sort of huge step for disclosure. And it's like, wait a second. Are you just saying this, or can we see the schematics? How's this going to work? Is it a van? Is it a plane? Is it a helicopter? How many people are on the team? Who's on the team? If it's a, you know, private citizens, right? Who's funding this? Would you guys live in like a fucking, you know, a fortress of solitude where you guys sit around a crystal table and just wait for UFO crashes to happen around the world? And then you zoom off in your invisible jet like fucking X-Men, but way dumber? Looking for fucking craft so large that they can't be moved. So you build buildings around them so you can study them and find their secrets. Let's listen to the clip.
You know, a few ways to move that conversation
So
forward
dumb.
legally. I'm not advocating that anybody basically sneak anything out the back door. There's one legal way to do it is to go out and look for the evidence ourselves, right? The stuff that is obtained or claimed to be obtained is in the possession of the government because they got there first.
How do they always seem to get there first, though? Is it detection before it impacts?
We have an amazing detection system.
Okay.
Satellites that
Amazing.
you spent billions and billions of dollars on putting up. When stuff goes awry, they get there first. They really do. And so one of the first problems many in the public make, or one of the mistakes they make, is alerting the government first. You know,
Ballsy call.
it's a ball, yeah. So you do that. You think you're doing the right thing, but you know there are operations being set up to make parallel retrieval teams that have nothing to do with the government to get there first.
Okay.
And hopefully not engage yourself in a firefight. There's
That and hope. You know, Jesus Christ, man. Why anyone takes anything this guy says seriously is beyond me. Outside of immunology and cancer cures, I do not trust anything this man says. I really don't. And it's funny how a PhD in immunology is discussing wormholes and crash retrieval teams and being visited by beings and people being chosen by these beings, being special. It's wild, man. It's absolutely wild. Like, yeah, and no questions for the private UFO crash retrieval team. So yeah, exactly. Like, what happens when the military and your helicopter or whatever you get there in, the invisible jet or the train or the go-karts, whatever the fuck it is you guys are using to get to the crashed UFO at the same time as our military? What happens when you guys get there at the exact same time? And they pull weapons on you. The first time, maybe you guys get away with it. You gonna do it a second time? Because I have a feeling they're gonna give you some pretty strong warnings to never attempt it again. And I bet you won't, even if you get off the ground. Which I'd be shocked to actually see any evidence of this claim from Dr. Gary Nolan. And I don't understand why Stanford lets him say, they don't have a right to tell him what to say, but it's like, I don't understand why colleagues aren't going, what the fuck are you talking about when you say stuff like that? Like, now you've got crash retrieval teams. What are you funding those? With Peter Thiel's money? Like, what's going on? What the hell is going on? It's wild, man. It's just wild. Okay, so Dean Johnson gave us a congressional UFO update. And he says the U.S. House of Representatives Rules Committee turns thumbs down on UAP amendments. on Thursday, June 11th of this year. It now appears that no UAP-related amendment will be voted on by the U.S. House of Representatives during the consideration for the fiscal year 2025 in the National Defense Authorization Act on the House floor later this week. Wah, wah, wah. The House Rules Committee has not yet issued its official list of the amendments that will be in order for floor consideration, but my Capitol Hill sources indicate that none of the 4 UAP-related amendments that had been submitted to the Rules Committee, along with 1,348 amendments dealing with other subjects, are destined to be made in order for floor votes. The non-approved amendments include 75 submitted by Representative Robert Garcia. This amendment was based in the Schumer Round's UAP Disclosure Act, the UAPDA, and a measure that passed a Senate in July 23, but was subsequently gutted in the conference in late 2023 due to the Pentagon opposition. The other 3 UAP-related amendments that apparently will not make the House Rules Committee cut. Number 3, submitted by Reps Robert Garcia and Glenn Grothman of Wisconsin. And God, gotta call his office again, Robert Garcia, because he's actually really close to me. So I don't think I'm in his exact district, but close enough. Glenn Grothman is a Republican out of Wisconsin. And to require FAA to establish a UAP reporting system for civilian aviation personnel, number 154, a short amendment submitted by Rep. Tim Burchett, instructing the president to release all records relating to UAP, and number 369, submitted by Rep. Robert Garcia, to make 3 obscure and probably superfluous changes to the statutes governing the Pentagon's All-Domain Resolution Office, the ARROW office. During an open hearing today, no House matter appeared before the Rules Committee to plead for any of the UAP amendments to be made in order. So they rejected it. This is losing steam, you guys, because there's no actual legitimacy to it. It sounds interesting on its face value. Holy shit, the pilots. You say what? They're seeing and hearing and what? And they have access and are saying what? And so then these lawmakers for the last, it's 2017 specifically, especially the ones that are in the Gang of 8 and the ones that are sitting on the committees that have access to this stuff, when they actually look into the things and the claims and they get their ARROW office and they get the opinion of NASA in on these things, turns out they're very mundane. And the ones that we can't figure out are because there's not enough data. But if we had enough data, the data that we do have shows that it would probably be figured out. We're missing another source, a corroborating source, or a certain sensor, or not enough sensors, or only one source of information with no data to back it up. So there are a lot of reasons why these things remain unidentified, and that bin can be, statistically speaking, a big chunk of what people are seeing. And then there's those diamond in the roughs, black tech, drone systems, balloons, which, again, besides Mylar balloons, like 10,000 balloons are launched into our atmosphere every single day. Every day. That's insane. 70,000 a week? Those things get confused all the time. All the time. And especially with the drones. Man, drones are insanely unregulated. And our enemies know this. And they're using these holes in our security system to take advantage and spy on us. It's just wild, dude. It's wild. And this is now dying in front of the Rules Committee. Rejection by the House Rules Committee will have no direct effect on the possibility of some version of the UAP Disclosure Act being included in the Senate's forthcoming version of the NDAA. The Senate Armed Services Committee will be voting on amendments to its version of the NDAA in closed-door meetings on June 13th and 14th. If a version of the UAPDA is included within the version of the NDAA that passes the Senate, then the UAPDA will again be an issue to resolve in a House-Senate Conference Committee, as it was the case in 2023. So this still could get before the House and Senate Conference Committee, but man, it doesn't look good. It looks like there's some actual real-world things that are being put in place of the UFO spooky stuff this year. And if nothing gets in there, good luck going forward. Good luck. I think Congress is caught on. I think they see exactly what's happening. I think the Aero Office had a big part in that. I think the stigmatization of UFOs and UAPs has been killed within Congress and the military branches. There's a reporting system. There's a very much encouraged and now law that says you have to report these within 11 hours if you engage with one of these things. So they are encouraging servicemen and women to report anything they see, no matter how strange it is, and that they will not be punished or ridiculed or ostracized for reporting something that could be our fucking enemies, and probably is. And the more data we can collect, the more we can narrow some of these things down. The Senate NDAA is likely to be merged with the Intelligence Authorization Act, the IAA, that was approved by the Senate Committee on Intelligence on May 22nd, 2024. That bill would extend a law originally enacted in 23 of December to deny funding to any UAP-controlled access program within the intelligence community that has not been properly reported to designated members of Congress. The bill also contains provisions to enhance protections for IC whistleblowers, sponsored by Senator Ron Wyden of Oregon. A third provision of S4443 would require the Government Accountability Office, an arm of Congress, to conduct a review of the operations of the Pentagon's UFO office era. Now, this is something that I 100% am on board with. I think there should be a review of the Aero office. I want to know as a taxpayer exactly what they're doing there. Why not? Why not? Like, I want to know, okay, how big is the office? Who's in there? What exactly are you guys spending money on? What's the operations like? Who's running Twitter? God, I'd love to know who's putting this stuff on Twitter now, although we wouldn't get stuff like that. But you know what I'm saying. What this will amount to in practice will likely depend in substantial part on what priority is placed on the matter by whoever chairs the Senate Intelligence Committee next year, which remains to be determined. It may be worth noting that historical report issued by Aero in March was prepared under a specific continuous Government of Accountability Office audit requirement, including twice annual congressional briefings by the GAO on the progress and preparation of the report. All of this being required by provision fiscal year 2023 NDAA enacted in the December 2020 December 23rd of 2022. Yet it is not clear that this audit requirement substantially influenced the content of Volume 1 of the Arrow report, aspects of which have been subjected to strong critiques by a number of knowledgeable commentators outside of the government. As I discussed in a recent article, and I think he means Chris Mellon, and those likes outside of the government. As I discussed in a recent article, a second and final volume of the Arrow historical study is still to come. Like we're still waiting on a part 2 for the Arrow report, and this one was not headed up by Kirkpatrick, so we still got to wait to see that. So like this doesn't have the momentum that it had in 2019 or 2020 or 21 or 22. It really started losing momentum last year when Schumer's bill failed. And it failed because it was stupid. Like, it was dumb. It was a dumb act, and nobody wanted, no lawmaker wanted to attach themselves to it. Not Rubio, not Gillibrand. So, yeah, it's not Gallego. I mean, there were no senators that were cheering this thing on. And it was a poorly written bill, and it only served the military industrial complex. It only served to cover things up even more. Like it had a arbitrary, committee of 10 to 12 people, I think, that was going to be handpicked by the president of the United States. Is a mix of independent and I guess government people. I wonder who's lobbying to get those seats. It's silly. Wise Monkey with a $2 donation. Thank you so much, man. I see handsome and smart Wise Monkey has joined us. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Totally appreciate it. So yeah. Anyway, you guys. So it just seems like things are really slowing down. And so, yeah, this was a funny clip. I didn't rip this one, unfortunately, but this one is, okay, so this is, if you guys aren't following Edward Current, I just kind of came across him here recently. He's at Edward Current. He's a skeptic, pragmatic, progressive, once famous YouTuber interested in believer zealotry, mass hysteria, evidence, challenged beliefs, and probably like yours, him. Dude, yeah. He's great. And so he writes, some people love to cite congressional people and their legislation as proving that, quote, non-human intelligence is a thing. Then there's this.
I think that there is a movement in the UFO community that people are opening themselves to demonic suggestion. I know people are doing seances and things to bring these craft down or in or something like that. And to me, it reeks of a demonic suggestion. You open yourself up to that. My dad used to say, if you open yourself up to that, that's when it happens. And not within the UFO movement, but I worry about that because there is a growing community that's what they do, and they talk about their spiritualism and things like that, and it has all the essence of a classic seance. And I worry about that.
Here's the funniest thing about him saying that is that he was on Jay, Project Unity's channel, like calling him brother and, saying, like Jay saw orbs. He fucking summoned them using CE5. So he's a demonic presence in your life, in your personal life. He's one of your buddies. So what about him? Is he a Satan worshiper? Is he been taken over by the devil because he saw orbs?
I really do.
So you're talking there about things like CE5, where there are groups that do meditation and they draw the phenomenon they claim to be engaging with a non-human intelligence. Is that what's concerning you? That those kind of so-called CE5 events, which are allegedly attracting the phenomenon, engaging with a non-human intelligence, the risk you see as a Christian is that might be demonic?
I do. It's just the power of suggestion. I have a friend and that does some of this, and I've seen them just gradually drawn in to this type of belief. And
is he talking about Jay?
And to me, that's very disturbing. That's very disturbing. And I hear more. I hear members of Congress talk about the demonic suggestion of this type of activity. So I try to stay afar. I don't, as I've stated many times, my main concern is what are we spending tens of millions of dollars on? If they tell me this thing, if it doesn't exist, why do we keep spending money? And then why won't they?
Yeah, he has not been to the Aero office. He's not asked for a meeting. He's never went to them. He's never said, "Hey, can you explain to me exactly what's happening?" He just makes these statements like, "Hey, what's all this money being spent on? Oh, I don't know. We got to get to the bottom of this UFO thing." But yeah, I think it's demonic. It's demonic possession, and a lot of people here in Congress think so too. I mean, have you seen my musket in the background? Huh? This one's a World War II rifle. Yeah.
Issued reports to a member of Congress.
Dude.
That's been my major concern with this. And as I've delved into it, I've found out about this community, and it is a growing community.
Tim Burchett, man, this guy is incredible. Okay, so here's a cool video from Newsmax. This is an interview with Robert Power from the Scientific Coalition of UAP Studies, and this is just classic UFO believer syndrome, where you got this Scientific Coalition for UAP Studies, and they seem to ignore the science of it, but UAP James gets super stoked about stuff like this. And again, we get these classic buzzwords. Robert Powell of the Scientific Coalition for UAP Studies discusses his investigation of a Pentagon official's 7-minute sighting of a glowing blue barbell-shaped UFO half the length of a football field. It's always a football field in Ontario, Canada in August of 2013. So trust me, bro. I know a Pentagon official's 7-minute sighting of a barbell-shaped UFO, and it was the size of half a football field.
We hear about this as we receive new information about a 7-minute encounter between a glowing blue barbell.
I'm going to go to the restroom. I'll be right back. Oh, wait.
Half the length of a football field in size. It came from 3 witnesses, including a Pentagon engineering contractor. This happened in southwestern Ontario in August 2013, about 11 years ago. One of the witnesses describing an indigo plasma that covered most of this craft, claiming the craft rotated slowly for about 6 or 7 minutes while emitting an electrical spark-like shower. One witness attempted to film the craft with his camera phone, only to get static when he did, despite the camera working before and after the encounter. So that's the claims here. Now on screen, you're seeing a rendition and a sketch of what they saw that day, the shape of what they saw. I mean, they said 6 or 7 minutes it sat there. The craft eventually shot off at, they say, an incredible speed. Robert Powell is a UFO investigator who traveled to meet with the Pentagon contractor, spoke to him firsthand about exactly what he saw, and he joins us now. Robert, thank you so much for coming on. What exactly did you learn when you spoke to this man, and what's new on this story?
Well, the main reason I flew up to meet with the guy is I wanted to verify that he was who he said he was.
Yeah.
I thought it was a very interesting story. Not only did you have 3 witnesses, but the primary witness was an engineer who had contracts with the Pentagon. And what's really interesting is you have an object that's not aerodynamic, right? So if you wanted to make up a story about a UFO, why would you say it looked like a barbell? Right.
Right.
You know,
doesn't make any sense.
Who's going to believe that?
Yeah. I mean, it's they say they tried to film it and the camera just failed. That they had that. You know, I mean, that's interesting that there would be some kind of technology.
Of
like
course,
a blocker,
the camera failed.
Well, actually, the scientists.
I love it. It must have been some sort of blocker, I guess. Like it must have been the technology, right? To shut off the camera. How come they didn't do that in the 50s with all those crystal clear images of the UFOs from the 50s? How come they didn't shut off the cameras when they were taking pictures of the Foo Fighters? Right? Like, well, all of a sudden, once they became digital?
I agree with
Weird.
him, is he feels that it was just a byproduct of that blue indigo field around the object. It was not necessarily.
I mean, let's see, somebody said here, cameras were analog in the 50s. Yes, cameras were analog in the 50s, but I mean, we're talking about a lore that has beings that can stop time, that could kidnap you from a moment in time for, in some cases, hours. In Travis Walton's case, a week. But then get dropped off, well, in his case, I think 2 or 3 days later. Or they come back to the exact same time, so they don't have the capability of stopping a camera from the 1950s because it's analog. I don't buy it. Like, I don't buy it. I don't think that the alien technology had a leap in their own technology in the last 50 years that went from being aware of their picture being taken or being unaware of their picture being taken to now all of a sudden they're aware and they're stopping cameras to do so. I don't know. It's a little sus.
Necessarily intentional. Yeah. The other thing,
and also, what's the guy's name? Who is it? Who is he? Who is he? Like, we're gonna make these claims on a news station. Could we get one of these witnesses to come forward?
Initially turned on his cell phone to try to take a photo, and his cell phone went into a boot up mode, so he couldn't use.
What about the other two guys' cell phone? Nobody else had a cell phone with a camera in it in 2013? Man, 2013, man. Feels like it was like 2 years ago. It wasn't. It wasn't. But even in 2013, most people had cameras in their phones.
Use his cell phone.
Especially Pentagon officials, you know?
And so then he took his Sony camera. When he first used it, he turned it on, and it immediately turned off. And what he did next is he began to observe the object through the...
So it was a Sony camera. It sounds like if he turned it off and then he turned it on and then it immediately shut off, it sounds like he was out of battery. So, and also he said it was a Sony camera, not a Sony phone, but he said he took a picture of it with his phone or tried to. This is a little confusing.
He took his Sony camera when he first...
Okay, so a Sony camera, but you said phone earlier.
First used it, he turned it on, and it immediately turned off. And what he did next is he began to observe the object through the telescopic view of his hunting rifle he happened to have with him. And then later on, the object moved farther away. And once it moved farther away, he turned his Sony video camera back on.
Wow.
And he could see it through the camera. Then the camera stayed on, but the video was scrambled, but you could hear the audio.
It's so crazy to hear.
So can we see it? Can we see it? Well, like, or we just gotta trust you, bro. Just gotta trust you, bro. Germany 5, Scotland 1. Give them independence. Oh my gosh. I love it. Dude, this is wild.
To hear these stories, and there's so many of these stories. And again, they come from these credible people. I still remember, hearing on 60 Minutes from these, they're like, naval pilots that have seen things that they just can't explain, and the way it moved. There's no way a trajectory could change like that at that speed. It's amazing to hear. You've got Harvard and Montana Tech scientists hypothesizing that aliens might be living among us on this planet. We also have a new report out that NASA's been looking tentatively in our own backyard in the solar system for signs that Earth is not.
I have a feeling Harvard wasn't too happy with attaching their brand and name to a completely bogus bullshit story. But it's too late. The media ran with it, copy and pasted it, and fucking flew with it. I didn't even get a chance to see it. Like, I was going to read it and I just didn't get around to it. I've been doing other shit. But it's funny because now they taken it down. And so now, because it's been taken down, it legitimizes it as some real thing that they don't want you to see, even though you've seen it. And people took pictures of it, and it's out there. And I'm gonna look it up once the show's over.
I think
just couldn't get around to it.
In the UFO.
But yeah, dude, like, these Trust Me Bro stories are getting a little stupid. They're just getting a little silly. And I found it also very hilarious. Oh my God, you guys. So UAP Mike Boyle, aka UFO Lay Group, aka Mr. Meatballs or something like that, aka Moon Base Mike. Like, this guy has changed his name so many times because he's known for harassing and doxing and making people's lives a living hell. Anyone who's in the UFO community but doesn't believe the UFO bullshit, he has made it a point for the last few years to make those lives of those people miserable. And a lot of people have left the community because of this guy. Well, he had one failed UFO channel, and so now he's gunning for a second. He's gunning for a second failed UFO channel, and he's on YouTube again. And he's got his show, and he's trying to debunk Steven Greenstreet. I'm not even going to play this clip because it's so stupid. But it's interesting to see King Wakata with him. Clearly, he doesn't heed warnings, but yeah, it's cool. You know, like, people in the UFO community love scumbags like this. It's like they go hand in hand. You can't have a UFO community without scumbags like Joyce and Mike. Just can't. Just can't. And you're always going to have new people that come into the community and just love their bullshit because they just do it again with a different group of people, because there's always people coming into this. There's always people in a space, a fucking 47-hour Twitter space, and there's always going to be people that you find in there, you know, that you speak to, just like you did with the people that you stabbed in the back the first time, and the second time, and the third time, and fourth time, and fifth time. Like, it's, and you know, it'll eventually happen to King Wakata. He'll eventually learn, because it always does. Might be 6 months, might be a year, might be 2 days, but he'll eventually learn. So here, 416. Let's, I wanted to watch this.
Late night.
I always love when one of UFO Jesus's, he clips something of one of his thoughts. Like, he posted this one, late night UFO question for UFO Twitter. So I was like, okay, well, let's play this question live on the air. And I haven't heard the question, so I'm interested where he goes with this one. He's now got a carving of a wooden whale behind him. This is so funny. This, anyway, I'm not going to comment on the stuff, but let's listen to the question for UFO Twitter from UFO Jesus, aka Ryan Robbins.
Late night question for UFO Twitter as I immerse myself in creating a video late into the evening. According to many credible sources, such as Dr. Eric Davis, former Colonel Carl Nell, former intelligence
not
officer,
a credible source,
David Grush, and others,
not a credible source,
throughout many decades,
all the other was not credible sources.
A Cold War sub rosa where China, Russia, and the United States are striving to be the first to back engineer UFO technology so that they can literally rule the world.
Oh.
And they all have
the spooky music too that he puts behind it. you can't say you're playing dumb anymore or that you really believe this when you put spooky music like that behind it. It's
crash retrieval programs, and furthermore, according to many sources, such as the ones I cited, sometimes the craft land intentionally, suggesting that they want governments to collect these technologies, suggesting that they're contributing to this Cold War. Why? I don't know. But what I want you to think about late in this evening is if they're willing to land intentionally and have such an overwhelming geopolitical influence on our world in such an overt way.
Go on.
What else are they willing to do that may not be as perceptible? Because the idea that they would just do this one thing where they're landing and allowing governments to collect their technologies, but not do many other things that are perhaps more subtle, might be a bit naive. And that's one of the great questions we're going to have to contemplate in a post-disclosure world. I just want you to run that through your cranium this evening. Have a nice one.
Well, let me think. I mean, if I was an alien race, I'd probably come down here for the Slurpees and find a way to figure out how to get those things for free. Because God knows the cost of a Slurpee is very low versus the markup of a Slurpee. So it's not like if you steal Slurpee, they're really missing it. So, yeah, alien race, I think that we could probably do that. I don't know, they could probably, since they could stop time and record things, they could probably get three-dimensional, aspects of your most intimate, most embarrassing moments ever and play them on every screen for everyone to see, and everybody's going to get their licks. Everyone's going to get their turn on the big screens. I don't know. I mean, you're saying that they're leaving UFOs on Earth for Russia, China, and the United States. It sounds like a cockfight. If you ask me, it sounds like the aliens are all of them. Like you've got 3 alien races, okay, or 3 aliens around a pit. And in this pit is our galaxy. And they come to Earth, they zoom in on Earth, and they're like, okay, who do you guys got? It seems like we've got 3 superpowers here. Let's dump a UFO in each one of these regions and see which one figures it out first and which one kills each other first. And whoever wins $1. You know, the equivalent significance, cosmic significance of trading places. They just bet a cosmic version of $1 on which nation is going to figure out the reverse engineered spacecraft that was gifted by these cosmic gamblers. It sounds like a cockfight. An illegal cockfight. This is probably an illegal cockfighting operation in a remote corner of a galaxy far, far away and far away from the eyes of the Galactic Federation. This is probably not an approved Galactic Federation activity. The Galactic Cockfight. Like, what a stupid question. Well, there are no stupid questions, Lou. Yes, there are. Yes, there are. How could you possibly answer any of these existential, stupid questions that have no scientific backing whatsoever, no facts that come with them whatsoever? You're just claiming that we're in a post-disclosure world. The fuck does that even mean? We're in a cosmic cockfight, and this guy wants to drag meaning from it? Late night UFO Twitter questions. Get out of here with that bullshit. Get out of here with that bullshit. Yeah. Hold on a second. All right, let me get to this. There we go. Oh, no, wait. Actually, was I able to read it? Yeah, I was able to read it. I don't need it over here. So, yeah, I don't even want to read this article. It's just so dumb. Like, fucking Representative Anna Paulina Luna is part of this UAP coalition for whatever the fuck, and yet she hasn't gone to the Aero office. She doesn't sit on any committees that has access to classified information that would inform her a little better on what exactly is going on. She's not asking the right questions of the right people. She's finding clippable moments to make herself popular on Twitter and social media and hopefully garner votes from her constituency to put her into this position again, to say that aliens are, here, and that, the Department of Energy and entities like JSOC, Joint Command something are in this, cabal, reverse engineering UFO alien gifted craft that have crashed and have been gifted, so it just depends. Sometimes we get really shitty used UFOs. Sometimes we get brand new ones. It just depends on which cockfight's happening above our heads. Representative Luna says she had a Men in Black moment. She's just a nutball. She's a UFO nutball that's not asking great questions. But here's her questions. How are unmanned aerial vehicles and unmanned aerial systems designated by the Department of Energy? What characteristics would an object need to display to be considered a UAP? Give me a fucking break. I think the characteristic would be it'd have to be unidentified. So let's start there, dum-dum. How many UAP incursions have been referred to the All-Domain Anomaly Resolution Office at Aero? That's not a bad question. How many? Because the Department of Energy does have a ton of facilities where they do a shit ton of work, and if they are seeing these objects, if they're engaging these objects specifically, I'd like to see how many they have sent to Aero. I don't think it's a lot, but who knows? At Formula One events, private companies are deployed, which can disable drones and trace the operator. Is that technology available to the DOE? Follow-up: if so, how many drones were you able to track to an operator, and how many were you able to disable? Great question. Yeah, and it's a good point too. If Formula One could do it, I'm sure military bases and the Department of Energy and sensitive military installations and spaces and aircraft carriers and naval fleets and shit like that. Like, they should, like, if F1 has it, the only reason F1 has it is because the military probably made it or contracted someone to make it for them. So I'd like to see, I wonder if she looked into, you know what? Formula One. One drone problem. Let's see if it comes up with anything. I don't see anything like, do they use drones? Why is it France. Footage. Yeah, I don't even use drones. They usually do have like those helicopters because the cars are so fast. It's interesting. They're talking about using FPV drones to film the events. That'd be actually pretty cool. But I don't see anything. F1 Grand Prix airspace security. Here we go. Drone detection in Austin. Okay, so D-drone. D-Drone. D-Drone secures the airspace at 2023 F1 Grand Prix in Austin. So solutions. Let's see where this... Yeah, dude, this is a fucking defense company. Solutions, industries, defense, customers, resources. Let's take a look at their customers. Non-U.S. government. Holy shit. Okay, so there are 49 airports, 20 non-U.S. governments, 15 U.S. federal entities, 362 public safety entities, 59 stadiums, 323 critical infrastructure, 32 countries, and 6 G7 nations. Wow. Tulsa airfare. Wow. Preakness Steaks. Yeah, dude. Customer examples, Ministry of Defense, Ukraine. Oh my God. St. Petersburg, Florida, South Carolina law enforcement, Perth Airport, U.S. Department of Defense. Here we go. Yeah, dude, I'm curious to know. Yeah, look at this. Get in touch. Washington, D.C. area, United Kingdom, Germany. Wonder how this started. D-Drone. Company. About us. Mission, leadership. Okay, so at D-Drone, we believe in a flat organization where individual empowerment and open communication drive a more robust and innovative solution set for our customers. Oh boy, that's a... All right, well, you got a CEO that's diverse, but not so much the rest of it. Through our employees are located across many continents. 30% have a PhD. That's interesting. Your investors, milestones. Looks like, okay, oh no, okay, yeah. Here's their first thing. D-Drone is founded and begins development of its very first prototype. Yeah, that's what I want to see. D-Drone receives $3 million in seed funding from venture film target partners. D-Drone raises $10 million in Series A funding led by Menlo Ventures. D-Drone vases $15 million in Series B funding, led by Felicius Ventures and John Chambers, ex-CEO of Cisco. D-Drone introduces swarm detection capabilities, 3.5 in 2018. Yeah, dude, like this is D-Drone in the press. Let's take out page 10. Is that it? Is this as far back as you go here, huh? Yeah, this is pretty wild. D-Drone's global footprint ensures that its customers will be able to leverage the latest regulations around the world by actively following FAA developments and also supporting the European Commission through participation in the ASD-STAN working group that defined the technical standard for remote ID. D-Drone is ready for remote ID in accordance with both sets of standards. Dude, yeah, like this is... I can see why they got the money. D-Drone is the market leader in airspace security. D-Drone's counter-drone system is trusted by airports, critical infrastructure, governments, military assets, correctional facilities, and enterprises to protect against unauthorized small drones. With flexibility to host in the cloud or on-premise, D-Drone's airspace security as service combines cutting-edge software with the best-in-class sensors and effectors to provide early warning, classification, and mitigation against unauthorized drone threats. This is insane. Let's check out a video. Drone is shown in the D-Drone UI thanks to fusion of D-Drone's RF sensor. So it immediately reads the RF sensor of the drone and can tracks it back to where it's going. That's interesting. So it's a good question. Like, yeah, I mean, if there are private companies, again, like if this is something that's hitting the private sector, it was, I promise you, in the military sector at some point. I promise you, man. Like, there's no doubt about us. Let's see, who was the guy who founded this? Your investors, CEO. Okay, co-founder. In 2013, when a toy drone crashed into a stage in front of Angela Merkel, Indigo Seebach was the first to have the idea of creating technology to protect from drone threats. Today, Ingo also serves as managing director of D-Drone GmbH, driving D-Drone's global strategy. Ingo Seebach. Interesting. I'll just check him out real quick. Seebach. Let's see. We'll see what LinkedIn says. Well, yeah, I can't read German, so. But it looks like he went to German universities in 1996 to 2002. Fraunhofer Institut für Schnitt und Oberflächentechnik. Sounds very technical. International trainee and assistant to Jeff Hochlichten. Seebach GmbH, CEO and founder. So yeah, all right, interesting. But it is a good question. Follow-up, if so, how many drones were you able to track to the operator? And were you able to disable them? Were you able to make any arrests? I think is a fucking better question. And were those arrests, did they lead to any big revelations? That's a good question. How many UAP incursions have been reported internally this year alone across all critical infrastructure locations with DOE oversight, including nuclear armament, refinement, and deployment sites like Pantex and Savannah River site? It's wild that she has not been to the Aero office yet. It shocks me. Because these are some good questions. These questions aren't bad. But she's making all this noise and she's not asking these questions. I mean, the DOE is definitely the right people. But she should be asking Aero these questions. And she should be getting clarification of exactly what UAP, UAV, UFO entails. Because I think if she did actually have a sit-down conversation with that office, she wouldn't be so loud about this. And she would still be asking these questions, but wouldn't have to attach the alien aspect to it. These questions are great questions without alien and visitation. These are great questions from a national security perspective. And the one thing I will give Anna Luna credit on is she's a former military person. A lot of the things she does like to vote on have to do with military strategy and spending and the troops. Like, those are the things that do matter to her. And those are the things she fights for. Her other ideologies I don't agree with. But from that aspect, she's asking good questions here. But I would love to see her take the alien aspect out of it. You know, I probably wouldn't know really who she was if she wasn't talking about this stuff, but that's kind of should be your MO as a public official, is to lay low, just represent your district and get the people that are asking for your help the help they need. Whether it be your brothers in the military, you could do whatever you could do as a lawmaker from that aspect, but the people in your district primarily. And I don't think the people in her district are asking for questions or answers to this topic. I really don't. I think if you replace UAP with China, Iran, Russia, you know, then you start getting, you know, then this becomes a lot more interesting and it slices even deeper than it's going now. So the recent AARO report highlights that better data collection is crucial for understanding UAP phenomenon. What technologies and methodologies are the Department of Energy deploying to gather and analyze data related to UAP sightings, particularly those near critical infrastructure? Given the potential security and safety risks posed by UAPs near nuclear facilities, what protocols are in place to ensure the safety of the DOE personnel and the public? Have there been any documented cases of adverse health effects on personnel due to UAP encounters? In the spirit of transparency, how does the DOE handle the public disclosure of UAP incidents? Are there any plans to declassify and release more detailed reports on UAP sightings over DOE facilities and reassure the public? Like, I've been screaming at the top of my lungs that we should be pointing all of our questions and ire and intrigue and curiosity at the Department of Energy. If we have free energy, if we have sustainable, clean, free energy, it's sitting in the Department of Energy. If there's any department that has answers on unmanned drone systems in sensitive airspace around nuclear facilities, it would be the Department of Energy. And the fact that they had to threaten them with a subpoena to show up goes to show you how powerful that department is. It never has to answer to Congress. So these are great questions, but I just wish it didn't have the UFO alien element to it, because that's why she's asking. She's asking these questions to rile up a base that wants to know about this on social media, but it's not a base that's her actual constituency. They don't give a shit about this. They do care about national security, but not UFOs, like an aliens visiting our planet. They don't. Because if they did, she wouldn't be the only lawmaker talking like this or going after the Department of Energy. Yeah, there's so many questions that the Department of Energy, like, they should be in Congress every month answering questions, like, as far as I'm concerned. So, yeah, so that's Anna Paulina Luna talking about, there we go, talking to the Department of Energy's energy czar. Let's see here. We listened to that clip. We listened to him. Okay, here's Michael Masters talking about a paper he just released, the cryptoterrestrial hypothesis. Masters is met with mild chuckles and is cut off mid-sentence as the show ends. Fox and Friends, you could do better. Morpho Time handles it well. I think this is hilarious. I think Michael Masters is a joke. And I think that there's a reason why they took this paper down.
Well, good morning to you.
But listen to what he says.
It's good to have you. Professor, wasn't that the ending of, I think it was Men in Black, the movie, where at the end they had the screen full of people who were, or rather aliens, living amongst us?
It's been a while since I've seen that one, but it's certainly a possibility. The subject does make its way into a lot of pop culture, so it's certainly possible.
So, Doctor, I mean,
God, what a boring guest.
What is the chances of this? I mean,
like,
this is like every year.
You know what? If you're gonna be, I can tell you right now how these network guys operate. Like, in their mind, they're like, this is an opportunity of a lifetime for you to sell your books, get your message out there, get people excited. and I'm bringing all this energy. I'm talking about Men in Black. I've got my orange tie on. It's a good time. It's a morning talk show. Morning. You're supposed to be waking people up with your good news and your fucking peppy attitude. And this is Michael Masters' response to, is this a movie about Men in Black?
Make its way into a lot of pop.
People who were, or rather aliens, living amongst us?
It's been a while since I've seen that one, but it's certainly a possibility. The subject does make its way into a lot of pop culture, so it's certainly possible.
So, Doctor,
serious. Look at his response. Like, come on, guy.
It seems like every year we have some type of story that it could be true.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is we're very cautious and conservative in writing this paper, and mostly what we're trying to do here is look at the oddities and the weirdness of the UFO phenomenon, which we can acknowledge is real. And as much as
No, we can't acknowledge it's real because we don't have any evidence to prove that it's real. You're a doctor. You're a fucking doctor, man.
Difficult to swallow for some of my academic colleagues and for a large percentage of the population.
Right. You're the only one who gets it. And here's oh man, this is something that really a lot of people in the community need to get through their thick skulls. Just because you're a PhD, just because you have a degree in something does not make you the end all be all on that topic. And if you're going to make big fucking claims with your PhD and your colleagues are going, he sounds fucking cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, it's either your colleagues, all of them are wrong, or maybe you're wrong. And it's not society ignoring it as a whole. It's the data hasn't driven them to make them curious enough to genuinely look at what you're talking about. Because the data isn't moving anyone.
It's important to start moving the conversation past are UFOs real and past the cockpit videos and the testimonies in front of Congress and the whistleblowers and a Schumer amendment and so many things that indicate that this should be taken seriously, and move the needle a little farther into the realm of, well, what are they? Who are they? What could they be doing? Why are they here? And that's a big part of why we wrote.
Yeah, we haven't gotten an answer on whether or not they're actually here. But let's take the next step of, hey, who are they? How'd they get here? Why are they here? Are they interacting with us? Are they from the future? Are they future people? If they are future people, how in the world did they create a machine that not only moves our timeline, but the timeline of the entire fucking existence of everything that has ever been ever created? Because to travel back in time, as most people agree with, everything has to go back in time. Not just you, not just your mom, not just the situation in which you need to go correct. It's everything. Going forward, I think, would be easier. But then again, yeah, man, it's fun to think about, but it's also just, as of right now, impossible. As far as we know as humans.
Wrote this paper.
And I know in the paper you talk a little.
So boring. He's so boring. It's like, dude, like, you're talking, if he really believes what he's saying, this is the face that you're greeting America with, why aren't you more excited about this, man? Why aren't you selling this? This kind of reminds me of what Kurtjai Munkel said about the Seoul conference. The people on stage and giving the information had this attitude. The people listening were the ones who were excited. The people who paid to be there were the ones who were really excited. Like, here you are, you're trying to convince the world that future humans are coming, because that's Michael Masters' shtick. Is that his theory is that it's future people, it's future humans. something went wrong in the future and they're coming back to warn us in really weird ways by, fucking ripping the tits off of cows and ass probing farmers in the middle of the night. Like, they're not doing anything to actually influence policy or law or world events. They're just here for the cows and the tongues, the cow tongues. Dude, it's weird. It's weird. But if you really believed it, you figure you'd have a little bit more enthusiasm than this.
A little bit about, why do we always see these things around lakes and things like that, or volcanoes? And so the suggestion is, and it's just conjecture, but maybe they came here a long time ago and they've been hiding out there for a while?
Yeah, that's a great question. And sort of the reason I was involved in this study is I've written 3 books over the last 5.
And I can tell you that question was not something that he just came up with. He was given that question because they know the talking points that he wants to go and talk about. I've got a paper. I've written books. Oh, it's a great question about they could be living in our volcanoes. Yeah, great question. Let me take a crack at that one.
5 years looking at whether they could potentially be future humans coming back through time. And one aspect of this crypto-terrestrial model that we discussed is exactly that they could potentially be extraterrestrial coming from a different planet, and they just set up shop here as it's easier than traveling across the cosmos. Same thing with this extraterrestrial model, that if they were coming from our future, rather than jumping back and forth through time, if they set up shop underground, under the seas, as you're alluding to, possibly on the far side of the moon, it would save a lot of time and energy, and they could conduct whatever it is these activities are that are so important to them here with us at this time, in this place, and without all of the need for constant travel.
God, that makes so much sense. I don't know to who, but he believes it. Dude, what, why we let the bar be this low? How did we allow it to get this low? Has it always been this low, the bar?
I guess, Doctor, the big question would be, is there like a baseline where, when it comes to vitals, where you say this person has to be a human? And if something is different, it's like, this is a little weird. Like, how would you test?
Yeah, that's a great point. And you're right. One of the things that we looked at is, could they be walking amongst us? And I know that, again, conjures up these outlandish notions of some people being aliens, and you're eating breakfast and there's an alien across the cafe. I know. And we definitely are the first to acknowledge that a lot of this can seem a little crazy. But again, if you think about them in the context of future humans, and that's just one potential possibility here, we would share a lot of physiological characteristics with them, have the opportunity to interbreed. We could hybridize across time, potentially across space. So, and there are, it's important to point out too, that
across space and time. Great point. Shut the fuck up.
All of these studies
just stop.
And there are people with extraordinary abilities, like psi abilities, remote viewing, and things like
very
that.
Interesting stuff.
Stunning report.
Thank you, sir, for joining us live.
I could be doing a show with an alien.
Oh my God. Of course, the conspiracy theorists will see that clip and go, you see, they tried to kick him off. They tried to get the truth off of TV, man. And like, I think dude, they just like, I love it. Like, the producer's like, we got to get the fuck out of here. Get him to shut up. Please just get him to stop.
Across space. So, and there are, it's important to point out too, the Institute of Noetic Sciences, the Dr. Mitchell Foundation, all of these studies have shown there are people with extraordinary abilities, like
shut up.
abilities.
Doctor, very interesting stuff. Shut the fuck up. Yeah, that's right. You could be doing a show with an alien there, big guy.
Well, good morning.
Nanu. Like, up next, Ryan Robbins, also known as UFO Jesus, was going to be coming on the show. And we'll probably be ending up cutting his ass off too. And he's not even a doctor. So there we go. Dude, it's so Like, when are you guys, when are you guys gonna understand? Like, this shit is not. It's not what you want it to be. It's just not. God, got so many clips that I still haven't gotten to. Oh my God, the whole reason we got to end on this. We're just going to end on this. The whole reason we did the fucking show. Jesus Christ. Didn't even get to Ross Coulthart saying this. So here we got good old Ross Coulthart, and he's making this statement here to the UFO community and to the people that have been asking him about this claim that he's made, and he's not backing off of it. He's doubled down on it. He's really ardent about it, and people, thankfully, he's gotten enough questions to a point where he's had to make this statement. And if you guys don't know, it's Ross Coulthart made a claim that he has multiple sources that have told him that an alien craft so large crashed in an undisclosed location. And when the recovery team got there, they realized quickly that it was too big to move. So they couldn't bring it back to the lab. They couldn't study it. It was in a country that nobody knows. Nobody knows where this crash took place. But instead of moving the craft, what this government did was construct an entire fucking building around it. And I guess all of those construction workers had to sign NDAs. The hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and thousands of people, thousands, not hundreds and thousands, but just thousands of people that worked in the construction crew and also work in the building, and the parking garage alone must be massive. So that's the claim, right? And when you ask him any details about this claim, he's got multiple sources that have told him this. He refuses to give fucking any details about this whatsoever. The UFO community grovels and sucks the mud off of his fucking boots. They absolutely love Ross Coulthart. And he has called for the death of American soldiers and lawmakers that are sitting on the reverse engineered technology and information. And here he is sitting on truth, sitting on what he claims to be the truth when it comes to aliens and visiting our planet and the reverse engineered UFO legacy programs and this craft so big that can't be moved. This is what he has to say to you, the community that asks him questions about those claims.
This is one thing a lot of people have been saying. Oh, you come out and just say it, Ross. Well, fuck you. I'm not going to say it. The bottom line is, why the hell should I say it? I'll say it when I'm feeling good and ready, when I've got my ducks lined up in a row and I've got my ammo and I'm ready. People in the...
Here's the thing with that fucking claim. Just tell us the country. Let the sleuth find where it is. You don't have to give up any source. You don't have to do any of that stuff. But you can give people the humanity clues. So you're just going to sit on disclosure until you get your ducks in a row? Well, when the fuck is that? When the fuck is that going to be, Ross Coulthart? And why the community lets you do shit like this? Like, he's literally pissing on you. He's pissing on you and laughing about it. And you're like, rah, just bathing in it. Just like fucking soap. And you're all lathering up your face and you're just bathing in piss. It's a pure stream of fantasy piss, and you guys just love it. You love it. To a point where he could say, fuck you. I'm not giving you shit. I don't give a fuck. I'm going to sell books. I'm going to sell podcasts. And I'm going to get more TV contracts. And I'm going to sit on this shit until I die. And then when I die, then some fake information is going to pop out. And then my legacy will continue for whatever children I've left, if I've left any.
UFO, UAP world seem to think this is entertainment. It's not entertainment. We're not under any obligation to tell you anything. The bottom line...
Telling us the truth is not entertainment. That's being honest. That's being the the stand-up honorable thing to do would to be tell the world where the craft's so big it can't be moved is. That's not entertainment. That's fucking revolutionary. That's paradigm shifting. It's not entertainment. Entertainment will be part of it, but that's not, it's like 10th on the list.
Mine is, we'll report what we find when we're ready to do it and when the sources are ready to speak. And that might take a while, but I'm all about protecting sources and making sure they feel comfortable about coming forward. And that was...
Okay, Ross. Yeah, these sources have been comfortable for over a year now because that claim is old now. But yeah, fuck you, basically. And then this is Ross Coulthart at SCU talking about, information that he's sitting on.
By the way, if anybody ever did decide to push me under a bus, believe me, every name of every person that I've been told, I haven't been able to verify it, so I can't publish it. Everything I know will be published by multiple people who I've seen.
That's so funny. He just admitted none of it's been verified.
Of every person that I've been told, I haven't been able to verify it, so I can't publish it. Everything I know will be published by multiple people who I've sent copies of what I have all around the world. I'm mindful of the fact that I do know people have been murdered. And that's a big call, I know.
Who has been murdered?
People have been murdered to protect the secret.
Who? Who's been murdered to protect this secret? He knows it. But earlier says he hasn't verified any. This is fucking nuts.
Believe me.
Every name
of every person that I've been told, I haven't been able to verify it. So I
have not been able to verify it. But every single one of those names of every person that's ever told me every fucking thing, I haven't been able to verify it. But let me tell you, somebody was killed for this. I haven't been able to verify it. That's why I can't publish it now. But when somebody pushes me under a bus, you're going to get those names. I promise. I told all my buddies across the world, Jay from Project Unity on the laptop that I bought him, I made sure to put all of those names in there. So he's got it. What a joke. But it gets worse. How so? Well, listen to this fucking clip. Listen to this nutball. And I think this is where we're going to end the show. Thank you for the donation again. What about his sources on the dead man trigger? Yeah. I'm just dying to know who are his sources on any trigger that he has. Thank you for the donations, Wise Monkey. I truly appreciate them.
When I know, for example, Trump's been briefed. You know what's going on?
Yeah, everybody knows that because that's what he said. That's what he said. Thanks, Ross, for telling us information we already knew. Go on. What else you got?
He's scared. He's scared they're going to kill him if he reveals what he knows. That's what I've been told.
Trump is scared that they're going to kill him? Trump is scared that they're going to kill him. But he's over here talking with this. Where's the one clip I had of his ass? To, fucking Jake Paul about UFOs. He didn't look scared. He didn't come off as a scared guy. So, and there's one thing. Donald Trump doesn't seem to like one who scares easily. This is a U.S. president with a mugshot and has felonies. And he's walking around running for president of the United fucking States. Doesn't look scared about anything to me. But Ross Coulthart, trust me, bro. He's scared for his life.
You know what's going on? He's scared. He's scared they're going to kill him if he reveals what he knows. That's what I've been told.
Wow, trust me,
You have
bro.
a situation where your potential president is terrified of speaking about the UAP issue.
He's not terrified. Every fucking influencer show that he goes on asks him about it. His own son has asked them about it. And he doesn't believe it. Like, after all of the stories that he's heard, he's like, yeah, don't believe it. But the pilots, wow, the pilots, so interesting. They're perfect. They're like Tom Cruise, just not as tall. Like, he literally said that.
Because he's scared they're going to knock him.
They're going to knock him. They're going to knock him.
I'm not kidding you. I'm not making this up.
Yes,
this
you
is
are.
Serious. You know, you have a national scandal.
Yes, you are making this
at
up.
the heart of.
Who told you that? Who told you that?
This. It's not just about UFOs, it's about your country. It's totally screwed unless you resolve this issue. It should be the dominant political issue. If you can get this secret out, the world will change overnight.
Why don't you get it out? You're literally sitting on multiple secrets. You live in a country that is part of the Five Eyes. Like, why don't you get your fucking country to do it? Since you've run into so many stone walls here in the United States that you want to take these people behind Humvees and drag them and stone them to death. But it's okay for you to sit on it. It's okay to say, fuck you to us for asking. The balls.
And I've heard that from people in the program.
The program.
They're deeply, deeply angry that this secret is being suppressed. They see no good reason. One of the reasons it's being suppressed is because America has made weapons, dreadful weapons.
So the people who are in the program don't understand why the secrets are being suppressed. But Ross Coulthart is here to tell you, it's the weapons.
Are you proud of that?
Are we proud of that?
Is that really what we want to do from technology that we've obtained by using offensive weaponry against a fairly benevolent, non-human intelligence? Is that really how we want to define our first contact? Because that's what we're talking about here. And I don't know how to communicate this more seriously.
Well, why don't you fucking provide some evidence? That would be way more serious. Why don't you provide one person, or you've got multiple people that are really angry about this talking to you? Why don't you gather them all up and go to the press as one? Safety in numbers, right, Ross? No, he won't do that. He won't do that. Why would he do that? God, that's dumb. Let's listen to this clip.
I want to talk to you about aliens.
Yeah.
UFOs, UAPs.
I know.
The disclosure we've seen in Congress.
He looks so scared.
It's confusing and upsetting a lot of Americans because there's something happening. There are unidentified aerial phenomena in the sky. We don't know what they are. Do you?
So it's such a question I do get a lot, and it's such an interesting question. I've met with pilots that look just like you, actually. Okay, they have more of a crew cut. Okay, they look like him and they look like you. Some of them look like you,
a little fatter.
But these are perfect people.
Okay,
and
these
they're
are perfect people.
Not crazy. Conspiratorial. Yeah. They're not crazy. Yeah. And they tell me stories that they've seen things that you wouldn't believe. These are not people that you would say, "Gee, oh, that's okay."
Way. President of the United States. I said,
who is it? Silent? That's Joe Biden wanting to do an interview.
I mean, that's what makes Trump so good at this shit. Like, he turns it into a joke. Like, this fucking idiot has his phone go off in the middle of an interview, right? I mean, par for the course with these two schmucks, right? You know, when they're interviewing Mike Tyson or whoever the fuck they got on their show. And this idiot forgets to turn off his phone for the biggest interview of their life. This is the president of the United, like, former president of the United States, probably going to be the president of the United States again. And this asshole has his phone go off in the middle of definitely one of the more interesting questions. Schmutz.
So I've met with pilots like beautiful Tom Cruise, but taller.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
handsome, perfect people.
Uh-huh.
Sir, there was something there that was round in form and going like 4 times faster than my super jet fighter plane.
Fighter plane.
I look at these guys, and they really mean it.
Yeah.
And am I a believer? No, I can't say I am.
Am I a believer? No, I'm not. I can't say that I am. And I mean, this guy, he's had access to the information. I'm sure he's asked the question for his friends. And he's talked to pilots. Clearly, he's talked to pilots. But even he doesn't believe it. He hasn't seen anything come across his desk that gives him any sort of inkling whatsoever that it's real. He doesn't believe it at all. And he has been consistent on that. That's probably one of the few things that man has been consistent on, is that he's never believed this shit. Never. And he's not going to be a disclosure president. Fuck, dude. You guys are so dumb. You guys are so dumb. Some of you out there are so dumb. Anyway, I'm going to end the show on this song because why the hell not? Why the hell not? You guys, this was a fun show. Thank you so damn much, all of you that have been out there. Bobby Broadway, TJ Felony, Wise Monkey, thank you for all of the donations today, dude. You came through huge today. I truly appreciate it. Swink McLeod, Matthew Wright, I see you out there. You change your name every 15 minutes, but thank you for being here. TJ Felony, what's going on? Thank you for being here. You guys, that's the show. We didn't get to everything, but we got to mostly everything. With that said, I appreciate all of you guys being here. This was a really fun show. We didn't do a space this week, obviously, because I was just super busy. I had our show, which, by the way, we got renewed for season 3 at the Upright Citizens Brigade. So we get another year of sketch comedy to do at the most prestigious comedy theater in Los Angeles. So that's a big honor. Almost 2,000 people auditioned for the 6 sketch teams that are available to be on in the at the theater. And yeah, man, we're going in for a 3rd season, so it's really cool. It's a big accomplishment, so I'm super proud of it. So yeah, that was something that happened this week. And yeah, I think that's everything. Please don't forget to hit that like, share, subscribe button. We just dropped below 12,000 subs. It makes me sad that we're losing subs, but it's nice to know that the people that are still here really love the show. So it's ever since we changed the format of the show, we've been losing subs many per day, and it's taken I say we've probably lost about officially 2,000 subs officially. So yeah, it's not fun. So if you're new to the show, subscribe to the show. Let's get above 12,000 again. I would like to get back to 13,000 because it's my favorite number, 13. So I was really bummed when we lost 13,000, but yeah. That'd be cool to get back to. Yeah, if you guys really, really, really love the show, we've got links in the description below where you can financially help support the show for as little as $1 a month or for as much as you want. It's up to you. Check out our Patreon. Thank you to all the YouTube members out there. Thank you to my mods out there. And thank you to everyone who's in the chat here every single show. All of you guys out there on Twitter, man, we have 315 people watching on Twitter right now. You guys, give me a follow. Check out the YouTube channel. Give us a like. Share the show if you loved it. If you're first time here, please do us a favor. Do all those wonderful social media share things. With that, thank you for embarking on this journey of discovery together. Stay curious, stay skeptical, and thank you for subscribing to Lou Reviews and helping us raise the bar. Until next time, you guys have a wonderful night. We're going to end on this one.
There's a difference between having an open mind and being mentally disturbed. Ashton Forbes and his following have the brain of birds. A obvious fake video made by a man who's come clean. Ashton just blocks him and says he's being mean. Hey, why won't Joe Rogan listen?
Love this song,
and accept my piss poor evidence? I should block his ass too for not having an open mind. Don't get me started on Mick West for not investing his time on wormholes and missing airplanes. Can't he just tickle my schizophrenic mind?
Holy shit! Holy shit! MQ-1C Grey Eagle!
And not so fast, Arthur Preston.
Arthur Preston, you ass. Your hands aren't clean of this either.
Did I get scammed?
Yep. All right, you guys. Have a killer weekend. Love you all. Peace out. Oh, man. That was funny. That was funny. Thank you for watching. Why isn't it switching? Love you.